NASCAR and cheating go hand in hand with each other. From the earliest days of bootleggers running moonshine to modern day teams pushing every single rule to the limit, bending or outright breaking the rules has always been a part of the sport. Some of those moments are legendary and others are just outright ridiculous. So I thought it would be fun to talk about 10 of some of the most infamous cheating scandals in NASCAR history. Now, these are not in any particular order, and by no means does this include all of the cheating scandals. But if you want to see more of them, let us know down in the comments. We'll be happy to do that. Number 10 is Smokey Yunick's missing fuel tank. Smokey Yunick was a master of bending the rules. At one inspection, NASCAR officials found 16 rule violations on his car and removed the fuel tank, placing it next to the car. Smokey, never one to back down, reportedly said, "Make it 17, jumped in the car, and then drove off, because he had installed an extra long fuel line that acted as a secondary fuel tank. This allowed him to store additional fuel, giving his car an advantage in long races." Yunick's reputation for finding loopholes in the rulebook made him one of the most infamous mechanics in NASCAR history. Number 9 is Darrell Waltrip's mysterious Octain fuel. In 1976, Darrell Waltrip's car was caught running a special fuel blend that gave his engine more horsepower. Teams at the time could only be checked for illegal mixtures after the race, and Waltrip's team had figured out a way to introduce the higher octane fuel without detection. When NASCAR discovered it, the penalty was surprisingly light compared to modern standards. While today's technology prevents such tampering, back then, creative fuel mixtures were a common gray area that teams frequently exploited. Number 8 is Richard Petty's Oversized Engine. Even the king isn't above bending the rules. In 1983, after a win in Charlotte, officials found Petty's engine was too big, by a full 30 cubic inches over the legal limit, which translated to a significant horsepower advantage. On top of that, the car had illegal left side tires mounted on the right side to increase grip. NASCAR fined the team $35,000 and deducted 104 points, but Petty still kept the win. The incident reinforced NASCAR's commitment to reinforcing engine rules, but also demonstrated how even legendary teams weren't afraid to push their luck. Number 7, Junior Johnson's yellow banana car. Junior Johnson entered the 1966 Daytona 500 with a Ford Galaxy that looked, well, weird. It was stretched, lowered, and the shape was more aerodynamic. It earned the nickname the Yellow Banana. While NASCAR's rulebook at the time wasn't as strict about car shapes, Johnson's modifications made it clear that teams could exploit the system. So NASCAR allowed it to race, but after the event, the officials rewrote the rules to prevent such extreme body alterations. The car itself became legendary, representing one of the earliest known examples of aerodynamic manipulation in stock car racing. Number 6, the T-Rex car. Yep, you know this one had to be on the list. Jeff Gordon's T-Rex car was completely legal until it wasn't. Built by Ray Evernham, his Hendrick Motorsports chassis exploited every gray area in the rulebook, incorporating advanced aerodynamics and suspension tweaks that gave it an edge over the competition. Gordon dominated the 1997 All-Star race with it, winning easily. After the race, NASCAR didn't issue a fine or disqualification, but instead outright banned the car, rewriting the rulebook to prevent similar designs. Evernham later admitted that he had built the car, knowing that it would likely be banned, but he wanted to prove how far engineering could push the limits. Number 5, Carl Long's expensive engine mistake. Carl Long, who was a small-time driver, was hit with the biggest fine in NASCAR history for an engine that was just 0.17 cubic inches too big. The oversized engine was discovered during inspection at the All-Star race, and NASCAR fined him a staggering $200,000 while suspending his crew chief indefinitely. The fine effectively bankrupted Long's small team and prevented him from competing at a high level again. While many saw the punishment as excessive, NASCAR defended its position by arguing that rules must apply equally to all teams regardless of their budget. Number 4, Michael Waltrip's racing jet fuel scandal. Before the Daytona 500 in 2007, NASCAR officials found an illegal substance in Michael Waltrip's fuel. It was essentially jet fuel, designed to increase combustion and boost horsepower. The discovery led to severe penalties, including a reduction of 100 points and a massive fine. Waltrip claimed the incident was an embarrassing mistake and distanced himself from the crew members responsible. However, the scandal hurt his reputation and was marked as one of the most bizarre attempts at an illegal performance enhancement in NASCAR history. Number 3. Joe Gibbs Racing Magnet Trick. Joe Gibbs Racing was caught placing small magnets behind the accelerator pedal during dyno testing. The trick made it seem like the engine had less horsepower than it actually did, which would prevent NASCAR from adjusting their performance limits. The scheme was eventually discovered, and NASCAR disqualified both Xfinity cars involved in the decision. The incident highlighted how even top-tier teams were willing to manipulate test results to gain an edge over competition. Number 2. Spingate. One of the most modern scandals, Spingate involved Clint Bowyer intentionally spinning out to help his teammate, Martin Truex Jr., make the playoffs. Radio communications strongly suggested the move was planned, with coded messages from pit crew hinting at an upcoming spin. NASCAR launched an investigation and issued massive penalties, removing Truex from the playoffs and fining Michael Waltrip Racing $300,000 on top of suspending key personnel. The scandal led to major changes in how NASCAR polices team orders and integrity in race finishes. Number 1. The lead shot trick. One of the most legendary cheating methods involved teams filling their roll cages with lead shot, a heavy material that was used to manipulate weight distribution. Before inspection, they would drill a hole and dump the weight out, making the car significantly lighter and faster. This tactic went undetected for years, as inspectors had no way of proving it after the race. When NASCAR finally caught on, they introduced stricter weight regulations and inspections. The lead shot trick remains one of the most creative and dangerous cheating methods in NASCAR history. Cheating in NASCAR is as old as the sport itself. Whether it's creative rule bending or just outright fraud, teams have always looked for an edge. And some of these tricks have changed the sport forever, and others are just kind of fun to look back on. But let me know, what do you guys think? What is your favorite NASCAR cheating story? There are a lot more of these stories, so if you want to see more of them, let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NASCAR content.